Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. The president has approved review of grazing sites, that's grazing reserve in the country. And it's quite a disturbing news considering the fact that the southern governors had already pushed in their communique after a meeting they had in Lagos that they do not want anything like open grazing in the country, and they don't even have land for anything like grazing reserve. Instead, that the presidency should adopt, ranching. But shockingly, it has turned the other way. Most people believe that the president has considered it, especially when he gave as much as 6.25 billion naira for the establishment of ranching in Katsina. The Katsina state governor, Aminu Bello Masari, on Thursday precisely, I think it was on the 15th of, it was on the 16th of July. That news hit the media space, and a lot of people were like, wow, if he has given it to them, it therefore means he has adopted ranching. The guy came out, the governor of Katsina State came out, and he said that Mr. President has graciously approved a sum of 6.25 billion for ranching development purposes in Katsina State. Part of this amount, 5 billion, is already in the account of the state government, and within a few weeks, you will see the advertisement calling for interested companies and consultants that will participate in construction. A lot of people were happy, believing that this issue of ranching, the issue of grazing reserves, open grazing, and all of that has come to an end. But you'll be so shocked what the president has done. A committee has been set up. You're going to see the details of this in a jiffy. But before we do that, if you're not subscribed, kindly hit the red subscribe button and the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish out. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved recommendations of a committee to review with dispatch 368 grazing sites across 25 states in the country to determine the level of encroachment. The president's directive followed his approval of the recommendations of a committee chaired by the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. Among others, the committee has recommended the collection of field data collection on 368 grazing reserves across 25 states to assess encroachment and encroachers, stakeholders' engagement, and sensitization. The committee also recommended production of maps and geo-mapping strokes tagging of site and analysis of findings and report preparation, as well as design appropriate communication on grazing reserve and operation. The number of the grazing reserve and states were deduced from consideration of existing security concern and other pre-existing socio-economic conditions. The president directed that the assignment be undertaken with dispatch to bring more understanding on the grazing reserves and implementation. Members of the committee include Governor of Kebbi State and Vice Chairman National Food Security Council Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, Governor of Ebonyi State and Chairman of NEC Subcommittee for National Livestock Transformation Plan David Umahi, Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu, Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development Sabo Nanono, Minister of Environment Dr. Muhammad Mahmoud Abubakar, and Deputy Chief of Staff Ade Igbaye. The technical subcommittee consists of representatives from the 7 members of the main committee, in addition to representatives from Ministry of Justice, Surveyor General of the Federation, National Agricultural Land Development Authorities, and National Space Research Development Agencies. Among its terms of reference, the committee was to collect from states and confirm the status of all grazing reserves, assess the percentage of available land and those with existing encroachment complication for case-by-case resolution in partnership with the state government and the FCT. The committee will also make recommendations for gazetting of ungazetted grazing reserve and create database of national cattle headers and ensure that grazing reserves are well communicated to all stakeholders. The inaugural meeting of the committee was held on May 10, 2021. My God, this is one thing that it's still very shocking to Nigerians. And this is to clearly show that the presidency totally undermined the meeting that was held by the southern, governors in Nigeria in the 17 states. Shockingly, he's not interested in it, as they have already started the process. And shockingly, one of those that will be part of that committee is the governor of Ebonyi State, talking about David Umahi. Quite interesting, which means no matter what you are saying, as far as there is a grazing reserve in your state, be rest assured that they are going to take stock of it, look at how much of it has been, encroached maybe by the population, and possibly discuss other things. Full data will be presented, which means that implementation is sure. At this point, there is no way, if the report of this particular committee come on board, certainly implementation will be fast-tracked. Wow, I don't know what to say at this point, because taking into cognizance the fact that security issues kind of revolve around Fulani herdsmen, and they have a lot of questions to answer, and most communities are rejecting, their host communities in different states are rejecting them because of their nefarious activity. Expectation was that there will be a way out, possibly the government or Buhari-led administration adopting what he did, to Katsina State governor, where he gave him as much as 6-point-something billion naira for ranching business. That was my expectation. But shockingly, it has turned out the other way. Let's just look at what Nigerians have to say. Someone says he has been offered so many alternatives, such as ranching, but he is vehemently on the grazing reserve. Why? Some other person says here, these guys are still hell-bent in gazetting land as grazing route in the modern age. They can keep fooling themselves. Nigeria is not talking. Nigeria can be Afghanistan. This country is secular and pluralized in nature. I don't know what the person says. This one says Buhari's problem is not the insecurity, the rise in price of commodity in the market, or the unemployment rate in Nigeria, but grazing reserve. I mean, a lot of things that happen in the country forces one to begin to think if these guys even care about us at any time. If truly Nigerians were the one that brought in this government, the most important thing to consider and be more interested in would have been those problem that is biting hard on Nigerians. For example, unemployment. Nobody has said anything interesting about unemployment. Nobody has said anything interesting about insecurity. Yeah, the government is fighting insecurity, but how is the situation right now? Nobody has cared to say, okay, this issue of state policing, let's see how we can kickstart it so that it can help correct some of the ills of insecurity in the country. Nobody is considering that. The issue of, the forest being rampaged by certain group of people in the name of Fulani and all of that. Nobody is looking at that. But this grazing reserve seems to be more important, which clearly shows that to some extent this country has been restructured because everybody is thinking about their ethnicity even more than the generality of the people. This issue of grazing shouldn't be, it shouldn't be something anybody should think over, about it, because already there are multiple options Nigerians have presented. One of it is ranching, so that at least they should be. Look at the population explosion that we've had thus far. As far as I'm concerned, as of now, Nigeria, no one can tell me Nigeria is 200 million people, and I'll believe it. If some 1 or 2 years ago it was 200 million, with the entry of some immigrant and with the continuous increase in the population via this thing, childbirth, Nigeria is far beyond that. Those areas, I tell you, will be points where people can build houses and all of that. We should wake up and correct this once and for all. It's not interesting. But however, we'll keep waiting to see what the report of the committee will be, considering the fact that this is coming from the topmost guys. I'd like to leave it there. Go to